Gullah Geechee Accents in English on Sapelo and Dafuskie Islands by Artemis Preeshl. The method of this study included informed consent and interviews with Gullah Geechee speakers in English on Sapelo and Daufuskie Islands in 2019. Most interviewees read the Arthur the Rat passage and told a story about growing up on these islands. On Sapelo, interviewees included 2 women and 2 men who read Arthur the Rat and told stories. 1 man told a story. On Daufuskie, 1 woman read Arthur the Rat and told a story. 2 men told stories. 1 woman talked about the Gullah Geechee culture but was not recorded for this study. The recordings totaled 34 minutes on Sapelo and 14 minutes on Daufuskie. The difference in minutes reporting impacted results. Compared with so-called American accent in the International Phonetic Alphabet Chart, the Gullah Geechee accent varied slightly. Interviewees used diphthongs more often reading Arthur the Rat than in telling stories about growing up on the islands. Substituting I for E in the ly ending and for U in the was frequent. Unrounding monophthongs such as U and aw, backing and centralizing monophthongal shifts, rounding ah as aw, and full rounding of as U on Daufuskie. Monophthongizing, fronting, and centralizing diphthongs, A, I, and O. Occasional rounding monophthongized diphthongs, and more schwa on and off glides, that's the sound, in Arthur the Rat and stories on Sapelo than on Daufuskie Island. In consonance, the findings were replacing T and D with glottal stops and nasal consonants, substituting D and T, and syllabalizing the final L in words such as little or lil. Varying rhoticity in Arthur on Sapelo more than on Daufuskie. Varying unvoiced TH sound as opposed to the V sound, and K and S, as well as rhoticity in Arthur, realized even as Oscar, instead on Daufuskie. Voicing, raising, and backing TH more than expected. Occasionally replacing S for Z and reversing unvoiced frontal S for the unvoiced backed K on Sapelo. Varying nasal consonants more on Sapelo than on Daufuskie Island, and using syllabic nasals n and occurred more widely than expected on both islands. Conclusions. Southern accents tended to be raised and fronted. However, lowering and backing occurred more than expected in the Gullah Geechee accent in English. Jaw height was more open than in a general American accent. Rounding monophthongs and monophthongized diphthongs was more frequent than expected. Reading Arthur the Rat and talking about school increased code shifting towards a so-called general American accent than telling stories about growing up. Workers in tourism, research, business, and service code shifted towards the so-called general American accent more than those that did not have customer-facing positions. And customer-facing workers code-shifted more on Daufuskie than on Sapelo. The reduction of 16 communities on Sapelo to 1 community, Hog Hollow, on Sapelo allowed for greater retention of the Gullah Geechee accent in English.